All right, so I don't cover a lot of Star Wars stuff over here. Once in a while, I will. Every once in a while, if I think it's like worth talking about. I like Star Wars quite a bit. I grew up with Star Wars, right? I think a lot of people did. Didn't like the prequel trilogy that much. I think the third one was really good. It was kind of like a Shakespearean thing. The guy who did Obi-Wan is his name Ian McGregor. He did a great job. Loved it. That was it, though. That was it for the prequel trilogy. And then the new ones came out, and I was in the fence of a lot of people, right? Like, I didn't quite know what to make of it. It seemed like a rehash of the old ones. But I was willing to give Force Awakens a chance. I liked that one. You know, it brought a lot of nostalgia. It felt like the right movie after all that time, you know, because we hadn't seen the original cast at all in a long time. It'd been over 20 years or something like that, right? It's been a long time. And then they did Rogue One, which I thought was a fantastic movie. I liked that one quite a bit. That one was better than at least two of the prequel movies. I liked it a lot. I thought it was good. It was different. It didn't have a traditionally happy ending. I mean, all of the main characters died. It was something different, and it was good. I liked it. It was a good standalone movie, and I enjoyed it. And then The Last Jedi came. And boy, what a clown show that was. Literally, for the first time ever, if you didn't like a movie, you were labeled as an extremist, as a misogynophobe, as a racist, all kinds of stuff. Like they really hit you hard. They went after everybody. Everybody that didn't like that movie was pretty much a member of the SS party. You were an extremist. You were your opinion didn't matter because, well, you know, clearly the only reason that you didn't like that movie is because you don't like women. That's why. So it was a big problem. A couple of channels covered a lot. My buddy Ethan Van Sciver pretty much covers a lot of Star Wars stuff. And, you know, I leave it to those channels to do that. But once in a while, something will pop up that really does piss me off. And it's this right here. So Star Wars, Mark Hamill shares controversial original trilogy reunion image. This really annoyed me because it's so stupid. It's so incredibly dumb. It's so stupid. So he shared an image. Let me go ahead and show you real quick before we get into it. Right here. So you can see here, somebody photoshopped that picture of Lando and the Millennium Falcon. And they put Luke, Leia, and Han in there. And he said missed opportunities, right? What is he referring to? He's referring to the fact that people wanted to see all of the old cast come in. I wanted to see that. I think most people that grew up with the old movies, I mean, most people that grew up with it are old now, right? Because the movies literally started in the 70s, but they're so good they became kind of timeless. Like people just were introduced to the original trilogy at every age. And most people, including me, really wanted to see them all together at least for a little bit. You know, I understood that this needed to be a passing of the torch. I think most people understood it needed to be a passing of the torch because they're just too old now. They can't do movie after movie. It needed to be a hand-me-down to another generation. But the way they went about it, The Last Jedi, I have huge criticisms of that movie that I really don't want to get into. But the point is, I think it sucked. I think most people generally think it sucked, except for the weirdos that we talk about all the time. I'm sure all of the Kick Vickers loved it. Let's just put it that way. So, what is so controversial? What's the big deal? Well, literally talking about this labels you as an ismphobe. Let's get some context from this article here, and then I'll show you some of these tweets in this dumpster fire that's been going on. When J.J. Abrams' Star Wars The Force Awakens kicked off, the original trilogy's heroes had split up. While Lando and Leia still appear in Star Wars Rise of the Skywalker, that's such a dumb name. That's just like, oh, let's put Skywalker in it. That'll make people like it, right? A full reunion is impossible due to the deaths of Han and Leia and Luke. Mark Hamill has now shared an image showing what such a reunion might have looked at, and that's the picture I showed you. Posting on Twitter, Hamill shared a fan art of the older versions of Luke, Leia, Han, and Lando and the Millennium Falcon. The 67-year-old captioned the post, #missed opportunities. Some criticized the Star Wars legend for the post, saying he was fanning the flames of a hate directed at the sequel trilogy. In response, Hamill posted a follow-up tweet writing, "Posted it because I missed them. Nothing more and nothing less." Hamill reiterated that he still loves the new cast. The image for the tweet is almost the same as the original that he posted, except it features the Joker from Batman the Animated Series, a nod to his time voicing the clown Prince of Crime. And as you can see right here, this is the picture that has, you can see the Joker in there, which he did voice, if you didn't know that, from the Batman Animated Series, which is a really, really good series of Batman. If you are too young to have ever watched that, I would suggest finding a way to watch it. It was an amazing animated show. And this is the picture. I feel like he was kind of had his arms tied back. I think he's still under contract with Disney in a way because of Rise of the Skywalker, which he is in. I would imagine as a Force ghost of some kind. That would make sense. And they probably said, "Hey, Hamill, you need to, shut your mouth, because we're trying to make money on this, and Star Wars, well, we put a lot of money into that movie, and if you don't shut your mouth, we're going to make your life hell." So what did he do? He bent the knee. Like, this isn't the first time that he's done stuff like this. He said things several times, and it says so right here in the article. Hamill has been vocal about the lack of a proper goodbye for the original trilogy characters. Hamill recently shared a picture of himself alongside Ford, saying, "What a Han and Luke reunion could have been like elsewhere." He's aired his grievances with The Last Jedi and spoken out about various missed opportunities, although he's also expressed his support for the film at other points in time. Which is true. I think a lot of people wanted those things, but here's the deal. People expected this to be some kind of big thing with The Last Jedi and them, and they're mad that people want the old characters. How dare you don't want these rehashed characters? Because let's be real, at the end of the day, like, these new characters are nowhere near as good as the old ones. And if you don't like that, well, you're an extremist ismphobe. These are like the tactics that have been used on a lot of people. They did a lot of damage with the fan base with Last Jedi because the way they reacted about everything was terrible. Solo was no better. That movie was trash too. I don't have high hopes for Rise of the Skywalker. It's such a stupid name. I don't have a lot of high hopes for it because the past two movies have been garbage. Han Solo, that movie, like literally at the end of the movie, Han Solo, the name of the movie, by the way, is Solo. He's on the ground, and then Daenerys, whatever her real name is, Emma Clarke, steps up. "Well, now you contend with me." Like, no one came here for you. It's supposed to be a Solo movie. It's clear that they have like a narrative they want to push with these movies. Rey is literally the baddest badass of all Jedis throughout history. I mean, come on, man. It took Luke 3 movies to be able to lift a rock. He could barely lift rocks in Empire Strikes Back. And in the third one, he finally was a badass. It was a character journey. Rey, she's badass on the first movie. Already dueling like she's Ewan McGregor from the third prequel movie. So, yeah, it drew a lot of fire. And this is one of the reasons why people hate this crap. So he just shares this, and people feel the same way. Well, damn, I wish I could have seen that movie. And then you have these a-holes come in here like this guy. This image comes from one of the alt-right portion of the fan base, right? Bad looks, sir. Thank God I got ratioed. But this is where we're literally at. If you say, I really wish I could have seen Lando, Leia, Han Solo, and Luke Skywalker together one last time. Well, guess what, sir? You are an alt-righter. Isn't that ridiculous? Isn't that ridiculous if you think about it? How dumb that is? And this is where we go. You can't like the things you like. You need to like what they like. Or you know what? You are an ismphobe, sir. Or ma'am. You are a piece of trash. They just how does this have anything to do with that? That's the world we literally live in now. Here's another example of someone these two that I picked out of all of this, I picked for a reason because they were good summaries of this humongous thread. I mean, they get 4,000 comments on this, right? The two tweets I showed you about being called, an extremist, and this one were the best two examples. So thank you for disrespecting your fellow cast members and crew who worked on the new movies, and a big thank you for disrespecting an entire fan base. If anything, he's just saying he missed the people and kind of summing up how half the fan base feels. I would honestly say more than half the fan base. I would say 75% of the fan base feels. 75% of us wanted this movie that he's sharing, which says what should have been. But how ridiculous is it that you're accused of crapping on people in a fan base, and what's even worse is you're accused of literally being a Nazi because you liked the original trilogy and you wanted that over the crap they gave us with The Last Jedi. That's where we're at now. This is ridiculous. You can't even just share a picture like that without getting attacked and being called an ismphobe. So, yeah, just a quick Star Wars video. I really wanted to talk about this because I just found it so ridiculous that they're calling people extremists for saying, hey, I like the original trilogy. Again, they never learn. Anyway, like, subscribe, throw a comment up. Let me know what you think about this ridiculousness. And check out the links in the description. Got a link to my Patreon and stuff in there. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.